Hi, welcome to week 7. I'd like to start by answering a few questions that people had regarding some research items and some things that we're doing. One is, what is the purpose of the IRB, the Institutional Research Board? Well, basically, simply, the IRB is there to make sure that the research that we conduct doesn't hurt anybody. And so they're most concerned if we are doing research that involves human subjects, if we're interviewing people, if we're surveying people. And so the IRB at most universities, and this is true at Sullivan, is made up of faculty members from the various areas, various disciplines. And they serve on the IRB, and what they do is they review research proposals. And so anyone who is doing a research proposal that has the really the potential of being read or presented outside of the university, and that certainly would include doctoral dissertations, has to go through the IRB committee and be approved. And so that's why we have the IRB, as they make sure that we're not doing things that would compromise people's anonymity or people's safety, because there are things that you can do in research where you can compromise people's safety, you can compromise people's anonymity. So they want to make sure that the kinds of controls that we put into our research, like how we gather the data, what we do with the data, how long we keep it, how do we identify it, so can anybody who accesses this data tell who was responsible for a certain score or a certain interview. So that's what the IRB is. Now your doctoral committee, that is 3 faculty members who advise you through your program, and especially in your second year, and particularly through your dissertation. And so the important person there is your chair. But there are also 2 other faculty members, and they are important. And their job basically is to give you ideas, to allow you to bounce ideas back and to give you feedback. So when you start conducting your experiment, when you start planning it out, they'll give you ideas on how to do things right. And when you start writing it up, they'll review your chapters and give you ideas there, and they will help you, and they'll also be present during your defense. In fact, there will be some of the people who will be excuse me, asking you questions during your defense. So you want to find faculty members for your committee who are interested in the types of things you are and who have expertise, which is why we had that assignment last week for identifying that. And for those of you who provided feedback regarding the bios, thank you very much, because I think that there's some ways in which we can improve that, make it easier for our students. Now, going on to this week, you're going to be preparing to do a conference presentation proposal based on the research topic that you've been working with this class. And before we get any further with that, I want to tell you about the research topic for this class, and the same thing for your other courses. You are not locked into anything by choosing a research topic. The purpose for this course is to get you used to things, to teach you about formulating research questions and doing literature reviews and doing basic statistical analyses. We don't expect you to become an expert on stats or SPSS from this course. We're just showing you what these things look like and how to run the different kinds of analyses. Whether you're doing a t-test or an analysis of variance, or for instance, this week a chi-square. These are just different types of statistical analyses that you use to solve different problems. You don't need to know all the complicated math that you see in the book. Nobody's going to ask you to recite any of those formulas. What you need to know is become familiar enough with these different types of research designs excuse me, and statistics, so that when you figure out what kind of study you want to do, you will know the right type of analysis to perform for those studies. And that's what we're doing in this class. That's why I don't want you to stress too much about the items when you're getting into SPSS. We realize you've never used this program before. So we want you to get used to what it's like to import data in it and to run different analyses. And so you're going to have other classes that are going to do this much more in depth, so you will become very comfortable with these programs. For your conference the other thing I wanted to tell you is that you are not locked into a topic. So in these classes, we're going to have you choose a topic to research, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to do for your dissertation. Because some of you already have an idea of what you're interested in and what you probably will want to look for in the dissertation. And for those people, we'll tell you, start finding your variables, the things within the study that you're going to be looking for. What this influences this. Independent variables influence dependent variables. For almost all of you, you will probably change your topic multiple times as you take more classes and learn stuff. And so don't worry about that. Pick a topic for this class, pick a topic for your other classes, but know that you don't have to keep using the same topic class per class. So you are not choosing your dissertation in this class. You'll have a couple of years to determine that. For each class, we want you to get a better idea of what you're interested in, what research has been done, and what research hasn't been done, and where your research might fit in. And so for the conference presentation proposal, that is a way for you to succinctly talk about your research in a way and in a format that you could present it at a conference. So I am more than willing to answer all kinds of questions about that. Let me tell you a little bit about my experience with conferences. This year, I will be delivering my 190th, 190, conference presentation. I have submitted about 195 or 196 conference proposals. So that means I've gotten accepted 190 times, I've gotten rejected about 5 or 6 times. So I kind of know how to do this. There are other things that I don't do nearly as well, but conferences and conference presentation proposals I know pretty well, and I have also reviewed for a lot of conferences. So if you have any questions about the conference presentation proposal, just fire me off an email or give me a call, and we can work those things out. Let's see. As I'm looking at your other assignments here, targeting your proposal, number 2, methodology, and that's basically, I want you to go into the topic that you chose before, and I want you to now look at the methods section and evaluate that methods section and how they actually set up collecting the data and what they did. The other thing, hack your schedule. That's another one where you're going to go back and reflect where you are now versus where you were when you started looking at how you were going to how you were going to assure that you would have the time and the energy and the resources to do this. And for a few of you, you found that life sometimes gets in the way, and it did for me, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So your reflections may be a little bit different this far along. Then we're looking at examining relationships in SPSS, and that's basically what you have been doing, except the next type of analysis. We did t-tests, we did analysis of variance. Now you're going to do chi-square, which is a relationship of variables, and so that's just another type of analysis that you can use in there. Then the last one, begin to draft your conference proposal. That one is, let's see here. That one is going to be due in a couple of weeks. So read that, and I'll give you feedback on the conference presentation proposal. It's going to be due in week 11, So I'll be getting it week 9. I'll give you feedback right when I get it. That one's a pretty easy one for me to do, and so I can get that back to you quick. In fact, quicker than some of the other ones I've done. Excuse me, got a cough today. And then you'll be able to have that draft in plenty of time. Although the one thing was the professional associations. That's assignment 7-1. And basically what I want you to do with that is start thinking about who you want to affiliate with as far as your career goes. You may already belong to a professional association in your career. If you don't, at least as a doctoral student, you should. And one of the great reasons is most of these associations have discounts for students. And so going into the websites of some different associations, looking at what they have for their members, the resources, the journals, the conferences, is a good thing. And if you go into the conference section, see if they have links to previous conferences, so that you could look at, say, their 2015 conference, and go in and look at the program and look at the titles and the abstracts of the proposals that have been presented, or the presentations presented at the conference. That can give you some ideas about stuff that you could present at conferences as well. And so this was a little bit longer message, and so if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. See you in cyberspace.